So, what we're going to do today is a free Reiki attunement for those of you who would like one. I know that everybody's belts are pretty tight at the moment, so I completely understand anyone who's in a position where they think that they could benefit from energy work or they could benefit from starting with different attunements or different modalities, but they just don't have any money to spare. Reiki is one of the milder attunements that I've taken on. And it should be relatively easy for just about anyone to process, bearing in mind that with any form of attunement, you want a solid practice of meditation. You want to be fairly grounded, and you also want to have a good baseline for your mental health. Now, to understand what I mean by that, I don't mean that, oh, you're never triggered. You don't take any SSRIs or anything of that sort. Like if you take medication for your ADHD, that's not going to stop you from being able to make use of Reiki. Whatever you or other people may think about medications, people get a little too rabid in their particular perspectives. You can begin advancing with this just as long as you've got a good handle on your emotions and yourself. So when I do these attunements, I do all three levels at once, which is exactly what Lisa Powers, which is who I got my attunements from, does when she attunes people through her classes. So if you look around at different attunements, both offered for Reiki and for other things, there will often be multiple levels that you take in at different times. So you would take in the first attunement, you would give it about a week, you would take in the next one, and so on. I don't do things that way because the reality is that when you take in the attunements, they are going to integrate to the level that you are able to handle them. So you're not going to be completely overwhelmed by taking in all three levels at once. Just bear in mind, with any attunement, it can cause things to bubble up from the unconscious. It can put you in a position where you need to be extra on the ball when it comes to journaling and shadow work. And you may find yourself needing to rest more or to get more alone time than you would normally require. So if you're typically a pretty social person, I would say make it so that you've got at least 2 or 3 days where you're not scheduled to meet up with anybody for lunch or you don't have play dates scheduled for the kids. So to explain what Reiki energies are, I perceive them as coming from the field of the earth. They are something that anyone can channel, but what the attunement does is it alters your energetic field so that instead of having to concentrate intensely or get into an altered state and pull them forward, you're able to just tune in like changing the radio station on your car's radio. If you decided to try and work with Reiki energies without getting attunements, you would tap into them even if you didn't notice or feel anything. You probably wouldn't see much noticeable benefit from them for a couple of years being committed to tapping into them on a daily basis over that stretch of time. If you are new to doing energy work or working with different sigils or symbols, you're probably still not going to notice immediate shifts or benefits from working with Reiki. But you're talking about reducing the time frame from a couple of years of practice where you just have faith that eventually it's going to pay off to about 1 month where during the first week you're not feeling much of anything, but it starts picking up. And within 1 to 6 months, you know when you're tapped in, you know when you're channeling, you've got an idea of what the energies coming through are, what their colors are, even if you can't visualize them. So don't get impatient. Don't compare your experiences to others. Let your gifts bloom on their own. when it comes to the three different levels, typically how they're divided is you've got Reiki 1 and 2, which is just giving you a stronger resonance with the energies themselves. And Reiki level 3 is typically being attuned to the symbols themselves. And I'm going to screw them up if I don't look at their names. Your meat and potatoes of Reiki symbols are the Chokure, Seiheki, and Hansha Seijonen. I'm not going to go in depth on what those are or how you'd utilize those here. In the description, I'm going to link to Lisa Power's Reiki manual and to another book called Hands of Light, which is related but isn't exactly Reiki. It's something that will give you a point of reference and give you a better idea of what you're seeing and what's going on in the sessions and an idea of how your practice may evolve as you go forward. But the only thing you actually need to get started is the manual itself. Or if not that manual, some other Reiki manual. I would not advise taking these attunements in if you haven't either purchased or somehow acquired a Reiki manual, or you plan to do so shortly after the energies settle with you. And if you intend to turn this into a business, I would recommend getting at least a solid month of doing sessions on yourself under your belt and roughly 50 sessions working on friends and family before you put your placard out there and advertise your services. And also bear in mind that depending on your state, you will most likely need to be an ordained minister or have a massage therapist license. And you'll need to buy insurance if you want to do the hands-on part of it. You don't actually need to touch a person in order to do a Reiki healing for them. And the hand positions, like the energy knows where it needs to go within their energetic field and within their body. So the hand positions, in a lot of ways, are for show. Where they become relevant is where the touch itself is part of the healing that someone needs. And you'll be able to gauge that intuitively as you work. With bearing that in mind, if you go in for a Reiki session and anybody ever tells you that they need to touch you in a place that makes you uncomfortable in order for the healing to work, get out of that office. Report them to wherever they got their massage license from or their ordained minister's certificate from. And if you're the practitioner and you hear anything whispering in your ear that you should do something like that, you need to withdraw from it. You need to get yourself centered and grounded. You need to understand that being attuned to Reiki will not make you immune to different astral parasites and other malicious entities that will try to feed off your energy and influence you. If anything, it will make you more attractive to those entities. So you will want to follow a rigorous practice of grounding yourself every day, putting up energetic shields, and otherwise keeping your energy cleansed. Remember that at the end of the day, no matter what you believe a spirit is influencing you to do, you and you alone are responsible for your conduct. So, with all of that out of the way, I'm not going to be playing audio during this Reiki attunement. One, because I want to leave space for you to play any audio that you would want, or if you just want to lay there in silence and allow the attunements to integrate. And two, I don't want to pick something from the public domain that maybe kind of fits or risk getting copyright struck. One other note I will make that the any links that I include to books I recommend, they will not be affiliate links. And that is explicitly because I don't want to be putting myself out here and being like, trust me, but I'm still making money off of this. This is for my business ultimately, but the Reiki attunements are being provided without any strings attached. And I also consider them a baseline for any attunements that you would want to purchase from me through my website. So these days when I do healing work, I'm primarily channeling the primordial elements through a mixture of fire and water. And I use primordial fire and water because from those you derive the other elements. So think of it like if you have enough heat applied to water, that creates steam. So that goes into air or ether. And if you have an underground volcanic eruption, that can create a new continent. It's a metaphor, but it gives a good idea of how these energies work within the field and within the body in order to bring about the healing that someone requires. So if you come to me for any attunements that I list on my site, more than likely, I'm going to ask you, have you attuned to Reiki? This is assuming that you've asked me up front. I put disclaimers on my attunements that you should have some experience with this before you purchase them. But if you ask me directly, I'm going to direct you here, and I'm going to ask that you wait about a month after you accept these attunements before taking on anything else that I can offer to you. So this is going to take about 10 minutes. At least that's usually what it does. I'm not going to time this. I'm just going to let the energies channel. And when I feel them stop, I'm going to stop this video without a word. So if you're just stepping into the world of Reiki, I'm excited for you. Go ahead and leave your experiences down in the comments. I love hearing about that stuff. And I hope that this helps you in the ways that you need and that it helps you create breakthroughs in a time where a lot of people are struggling to tap into abundance and create opportunities for themselves. So I'm going to do a little bit of breathing. I'm going to get myself into a calm state over about a minute or so. I'm going to turn on the music that I'm going to have in these headphones. And while my hands are up like this, or something like this, like my hands might drift apart because of my background, you might see my hand disappear during it. I'm not going to notice because I'm going to be so into channeling the energy. But while my hands are up like that, the attunement is happening. Once they're down, the video is about to stop, and you can go ahead and shut it off. And you do not have to watch the screen. You can turn this on. You can even have the video playing, but not have your screen on, and the energies, if you set the intention to receive them, will still flow into you. So let's get started here. I don't know exactly how long that was, but the energies have stopped channeling. Although I'm still feeling the effects, as you may be able to tell from the fact I'm rocking. I forgot to say this earlier, but if you would please leave a comment saying either accept or thank you down in the comment section below. That helps me in the algorithm. And any experiences that you have immediately following this, or in the weeks and months that follow, I would love to hear about them. This is the kind of stuff I live for. So I hope everybody is having a great holiday. This is getting posted on Thanksgiving 2025. Obviously, it is timeless. So anytime that you happen upon this, uh, well, I mean, this should have been said earlier in the video, but obviously, you know, if you took the attunement, it's going to work anytime that you take it in. But for those of you watching this, either as it goes live or during the holiday seasons of 2026, 2027, and beyond, I hope that you're having a great time with friends and family, and that you're enjoying the season. So, goodbye for now. I will see you guys in the next video.